Jeffrey Goldberg has been covering politics and foreign policy for The Atlantic for nearly a decade, and earlier this month, he was named the magazine's editor-in-chief. He's also helped shape its third ever presidential endorsement in its nearly 160 years of existence. The magazine is supporting Hillary Clinton for president. The editorial board wrote, in part, and I quote, "We are mainly concerned with the Republican Party's nominee, Donald J. Trump, who might be the most ostentatiously unqualified major party candidate in the 227-year history of the American presidency," end quote. And Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic here to explain it all. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the promotion, a remarkable thing.
Promotion or demotion? It's unclear yet.
It's 1-1.
What do we say in journalism? Remains to be seen.
Exactly.
It remains to be seen.
That story is still to be written.
Yes.
First, as it regards this endorsement, such as it was of Hillary Clinton, it is titled, the statement, against Donald Trump.
Right.
And in an election that many who've sat in that chair have said, look, this is going to be a referendum about the other candidate. It does seem that this endorsement reflects that idea.
So what happened was I was reading our 1964 endorsement of Lyndon Johnson and realized that endorsement was actually an anti-endorsement of Barry Goldwater, the Republican he was running against, on issues of temperament, on issues of divisiveness, on issues of how he would use nuclear weapons. And you know, you're reading this and you're like, wait, this sounds remarkally familiar.
You can hear the echoes.
Yeah, the echo is more than an echo. It's sort of punching you in the face for an echo. And so we looked at that, and we looked at our history of endorsement, and we don't like to stray out of the sort of a nonpartisan sort of stream, but I don't think that this election is between a Democrat and a Republican. It's between a Democrat and Donald Trump, who is atop of the Republican Party but doesn't represent Republican Party values or ideology in the way that we tend to think. That's not even the main issue. The main issue is experience, temperament, willingness to divide people, willingness to divide Americans into groups and subgroups. Those are the things that bothered us. We found Hillary Clinton to be qualified to be president. That was not an issue. If this was an ordinary election, would we have endorsed? No, because there would be no need.
It is a fundamental question, then, to which you and the Ed Board really is speaking, it would seem. Yeah. One of your several fields of expertise, foreign policy. When you then talk to those in the field, and we just saw Donald Trump again question basic tactics of the Iraqi attempt to take back Mosul with support from the United States. When you talk to the people in the field itself, what do they think of his position such as they are?
A real problem if Donald Trump became president would be that there's no confidence in him in the Pentagon. There's no confidence that they would back him, or that he would back them, or that he would listen to them. I mean, you can't have a surprise. Donald Trump is complaining that there's no surprise element to this. Mosul's in the middle of the desert. You have 100,000 or 50,000 to 100,000 troops involved in retaking Mosul. It's not a secret that we were going to lead the charge against Mosul. That's not the issue. Is not an issue of surprise. The issue is an issue of tactics and whether you have a plan to actually seize the town neighborhood by neighborhood. So there are a lot of people who are scratching their heads and saying, where is this criticism coming from? He's not renowned as a military tactician or strategist, so nobody really understands where this is coming from. And of course, it's undermining. People in the Pentagon and elsewhere in the government find this kind of thing undermining. Imagine you're a general, American general in Iraq, working 18-hour days to figure out how best to seize this city back from ISIS, and you hear that the Republican candidate is saying that you're an idiot. That's not really a useful role to play in society.
And he speaks of generals in a collective idea as though they are merely there waiting to be fired.
Right. Well, he also speaks of general. He also only has two generals that are models for him, MacArthur and Patton. And you know what's funny about that is that here's a candidate who's talking about how come they don't have the element of surprise? Why are they saying that they're going to? What's MacArthur famous for saying? He said, "I shall return." He leaves the Philippines in defeat. He says, "I'm coming back." The Japanese knew he was coming back. They just were defeated by him anyway. And so I don't even understand this whole line of argument. You know, MacArthur is the most famous for saying that I will take the Philippines back from the Japanese, and then he did it. So what's the issue here?
In terms of foreign policy, as we look ahead past to November 9th, what looms for the next president?
Well, there are a lot of problems. I mean, every president comes in thinking that I'm going to clean the whole mess up. The next guy or woman is going to have an easy ride because I'm going to fix up everything. And President Obama, to his credit, has spoken often inside the White House about wanting to leave a clean barn for his successor, no matter who that successor is. Because he came into office, remember, economic crisis, GM, collapsing stock market, 150,000 troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he wanted to leave something easier. It's an open question whether it's going to be a lot easier for the next person. I think in some ways yes, but in some ways no. You have Iraq and Syria have disintegrated as countries. Libya and Yemen have disintegrated as countries. You have a profound Chinese challenge in the South China Sea. You have North Korea that's moving closer to having the ability to deliver a nuclear weapon that they already have to American shores. You've got a whole bunch of international crises. I mean, this is not even talking about the domestic issues and the divisions in this country, jobs issues, every other kind of issue. I'm just talking about on the international front, you come in and you're going to be handed a dossier and it's going to be not filled with fun things.
There's no direction really to look and not see a looming issue.
Europe, obviously with Brexit, I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that but this is the presidency. This is why I never understand why anybody wants to be president, because you're just handed this. I mean, you have a nice plane and a nice helicopter and a nice big limousine, but you're handed this pile of stuff that isn't entirely pleasant. And what you learn, and what President Obama learns, is that the American president is simultaneously the most powerful person in the world and also has very limited ability to get things done. That's the central conundrum of the presidency.
And so, get you out of here on this one. If you spoke about in your endorsement, for instance, being about perhaps the fundamental qualification of both candidates to be president.
Right.
And you mentioned the lack of confidence on both sides between the Pentagon and Donald Trump, for instance.
Right.
How does that relationship break with regard to Hillary Clinton?
Well, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, in a way, is the least known quantity in American politics. I mean, certainly if you're an overseas leader, if you're a general in the Pentagon, if you work in the State Department, you have no idea what would be coming from Donald Trump. With Hillary Clinton, is actually the reverse. They all know her. I mean, she just recently spent 4 years as secretary. She knows every world leader, or most world leaders, right? She has long history of relations with the Pentagon, obviously with the State Department, with all of the national security complex. So you're talking about a very known quantity, and people like what they know. There might be differences of opinion, there might be divisions on various questions, but I think when they look at the situation, it's like, we know what she would do, we know how she thinks, we've dealt with her before, and that is a huge difference. Donald Trump is kind of this great unknown quantity for a lot of people, and it's a destabilizing thing for a lot of people, certainly around the world. The idea of a Donald Trump presidency is a destabilizing thing.
And it's a thing that could or could not begin come November 9th. Jeffrey Goldberg of The Atlantic, again, congratulations on a promotion richly deserved.
Thank you.
As always, we do appreciate the time.
Thanks.